Are we live? What's up, y'all? Y'all come on in the room. Y'all make sure y'all share this live. Y'all are officially tuned in to the Library Podcast. You're officially tuned into the Library Podcast. What's up? What's up, y'all? This is the Library Podcast. We are live on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. What's up, y'all? Make sure y'all share this. What's up, Big Boy Dialogue? What's up, Ebony P? What's up, Yanra? What's up, Micah? What's up, Micah? What's up, y'all? Y'all are officially tuned into the Library Podcast with your girl Ike with the mic. And today, this conversation is personal. It's urgent. It's needed. We're talking about the state of our community, the violence, the lack of support systems, the missing accountability, and the responsibility we all share in rebuilding our village. Whether you're watching from TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, pull up, comment, talk back to me. This is not a museum. This is not a quiet library either. Make sure y'all share this. So let's get into it. We have 4 segments for the evening. So make sure y'all share this. What's up, y'all? So I would have liked, in a perfect world, to have a male counterpart for this conversation, just because I feel like when you start having conversations about our community, about our youth, about just really what a village looks like, as a woman, I can have an opinion, but it is a man that leads, right? We know that men in the household, men are protectors, providers, and so forth and so on, and even in our communities, right? So I would have liked to have a man commenting, but y'all feel free to comment, the men that are on, because I would love to have you guys' thoughts. I had a whole nother show planned, and then the situation, there was a situation that recently happened that went viral on social media. It went viral on the news. It went viral everywhere. And I was just like, it would be irresponsible of me to not discuss it and not talk about it on the podcast. So segment 1 is community violence and the lack of support systems. The story that I'm talking about is there was a Chicago mom that was taking her kids to school. She was picking her son. She was picking her son, and she was picking her son and daughter up from school. It was a school on the east side of Chicago. And in the video, you see the kids kind of antagonizing. Mind you, this woman is kind of frail. She's smaller. She's short of stature. And you see the kids kind of crowding around her. You see them kind of yelling at her, kind of talking about her, joning. And first and foremost, that's the first issue, because these kids have no place even communicating or talking to an elder or an adult in such a way. But we know times have changed, okay? Then from there, you see the kids kind of all gather around her. And there had to be about 8 kids, okay? And you see them kind of forge some sort of like circle around her. And then they started kind of grabbing the little boy's hair. They kind of started pushing him, and you see her like holding him and trying to push him off. You hear one little boy say, "Hey, don't touch my friend. Hey, don't touch my friend." Then all of a sudden, all holy hell breaks loose. The kids start hitting the mom. The mom gets down on the ground. They put her down on the ground. They punching, they kicking, they stomping her. They're fighting a little boy. Then she had a 6-year-old daughter. You see the daughter that's a little bit down the street. They go to run and tug on her hair. I've watched the video so many times, and if you have not seen it, I will say it is really traumatic. Like, it is a video that you just don't want to see. The same way I felt watching the George Floyd video, that same like gut-wrenching feeling is the same feeling that I had watching this clip, watching this video. And then to know that these are our children. This is our youth. This is our little ones. And so it was really, honestly, a shock for me, and scary. Really, like, it was really scary because these are our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. These are little guys. These aren't big keep and low kids. These are little guys. And so to see that these little guys are the antagonizers and that they're fighting, it's really sad. For me, first thing I think about is this is not an isolated incident, right? This is something that since we're seeing this, these kids are accustomed to doing stuff like this. These kids are used to being disrespectful. They're used to bullying. And it's so funny because the mom even spoke about the fact that these kids bully. She said these kids have been bullying her son for quite some time. So this wasn't anything that was new. This was not anything that was out of the ordinary. This was something that they do, right? She had records on it. She had the school records. She had reached out to police departments. Like, there was enough paperwork, right? It was enough paper trail to know that these kids shouldn't be doing this and that it should have been stopped. But the biggest thing is the incident and what it represents. What does this incident represent, right? It is a big picture on our community. And when I say our community, I'm talking about the Black community, the Black community in the city of Chicago. We already know that city of Chicago has always had heavy eyes on them. It just is what it is. We keep a heavy eye on us because we've had a president that's come from Chicago. We've had well-known gangsters and a lot of gang violence and a lot of gun violence. And so Chicago is always in the news, right? Second of all, as Black people in our Black community, we're always in the news, whether it's police brutality, whether it's violence amongst each other. Now, on a main stage, people get to see our kids acting like animals. It's just really sad. And so there's a bigger problem. And I really want to talk about that a little bit, ask some questions, and really kind of do some stats, right? Because it's not just about talking about it and hashing it out. It's about creating solutions and figuring out what's next for us as a community, right? And that's what we do here on the Library Podcast, okay? So kids don't just become violent, right? So I know a lot of times people say, kids don't become racist, like kids don't see colors. I have, those of you that know me, I have a 2-year-old. My 2-year-old does not know color, right? He just knows a good time, okay? Are we going to Chuck E. Cheese or not? Like, is we finna play blocks or not? You want to play basketball or what? Like, that's what he knows. He doesn't know color. And so you teach your children color, right? The same way you teach kids violence, right? And you can teach kids violence unknowingly, right? They could just be in an environment where violence and the music that they hear and the things that they're around and the people that they're around opens a portal and a window for them to be a certain type of way because this is the way they see the adults that they know acting. And so they even like there's a lot of times where growing up, let's see, I'm a 90s baby. My mom and them used to say, stay in the child's place, right? And it's not until you get older where you realize what a child's place is, right? And of course, a lot of that was like, don't be talking in grown folk conversation. Don't sit around grown folks as we're talking because we're talking about something else. Don't butt into our conversation. But another portion of that is them trying to preserve my innocence, right? They're trying to preserve the innocence in me, the youthfulness in me. And I think that a lot of times in our modern generation, we don't allow kids to stay in a child's place. We allow kids to be an adult's place. And so they just assume that they're an adult, right? They just start doing what they see us doing. And mind you, baby, I've been an adult for some years and I still ain't got it right. I'm still trying to figure this thing out, okay? Step by step, day by day, okay? I've been a mother going on 3 years, still trying to figure out like, did I give him too much food? Did I not feed him right? Like he just had a whole day eating candy. What do I do? How do I do this? You know, you're still learning. And so for kids to try to mimic the way we're stumbling about through life is just it's insane, right? But kids are shaped by their environment and a lack of structure. A lot of folks, when they hear that, it gets scary, right? What does structure look like? Structure means you can't wake up when you want to wake up. You can't go to sleep when you want to go to sleep. You have a routine. Again, I have a child. He has a routine. He knows that, okay, by the time he take his bath, you get him a little bath time. He get a little bubbles. He knows he sits in his bubbles. After he gets out of his bubbles, he knows, it's time to go to bed. Yes, we talk. I put his lotion on him, put his pajamas on, say your good night prayers. He started crying. Oh no, don't want to do good night prayers. Why? Because he knows that once I say my good night prayers, my routine is to now it's time for bedtime. See, we have gotten away from routine as parents, as adults. And reason we can't give our kids structure is because we're not structured our own selves. We wake up when we want to wake up. We do what we want to do. We don't have no real boundaries on how we do things. We don't have any real guidance. We're not working on journaling. We're not working on reading our Bible or reading a book. When was the last time you read a book? When was the last time you picked up a book and read it? You know, those are the type of things that build structure. When was the last time you looked at your account and seen the money that was coming in and budgeted the money that was going to go out? Don't worry, I'll wait. These are the things of structure, right? These are the things of structure for adults, right? And so that same way, we have to have structure for our kids, right? And so these kids have a lack of structure because the parents have a lack of structure. Also, parents can't parent alone, right? I know that for a fact. People do it because they got to do it, but parenting is a two-person job, whether that's a husband and a wife, whether that's a cousin and a mother, whether that's a mother and a close neighbor, whether that's a father and his little brother, whether that's a father and somebody. Parenting is a two-person job, period. You know, so whatever that looks like, it takes two people to parent a child. And really more than that. Reason being is because I could look at myself growing up, right? I use myself for example. I had a mother and I had a stepfather. I also had a father and a stepmother. And I was able to see different sides of all spectrums, right? I was able to see, like, as an adult, I see that there's ways that I'm like my mom. I see that there's ways that I'm like my stepfather. I see that there's ways that I'm like my dad. I see that there's ways that I'm like my stepmother. Why? Because I had all of those people invested in me. Also, I had my grandmother, I had my aunties. I had, like there was truly, truly, truly a village. And so that gave me, what that did was that gave me a broad horizon, right? To pick and choose what I like in adulthood and what I dislike, what I want to use, what I don't want to use. So at minimum, it takes two people for a child, just because these two people are going to have two different ways of raising this child. And you have a better alternative and you have a better option of reaching this child, because somebody got to play the good cop, somebody got to play the bad cop. It just is what it is. You can't be good cop and bad cop. It just don't work like that. Sometimes it works. Sometimes, you hit the mark. Sometimes you miss the mark. But there has to be a good cop and a bad cop when it comes to kids. And so these are the things that we're missing in our communities. These are the things that we're missing in our households. When I think about Chicago had a 19% increase in youth-involved violent incidents between 2023 to 2024, right? So as of last year and the year before, there was a 19% increase. And, 19% doesn't seem big in the grand scheme of, 1 to 100. But when you think about youth violent incidents, so these are kids, these are babies, these are folks that are 18 and under. 19% is a lot. That's a lot, and that's according to the CPD quarterly report. 75% of violent teen altercations happen within 1 mile of a school zone, right? That's scary. So we have to think, once we drop our babies off to school, once we give our children to these schoolhouses and to these places, there's 75% of the violent teen altercations happen within 1 mile. So they happen within the vicinity of your child. Not only do they happen within the vicinity of your child, I dare you to start asking your kids what they've seen. I dare you to start taking your kids out to lunch, taking kids out to dinner, and start asking them questions on, what have you seen? What are the conversations that are happening at the lunch table? Because they ain't trading fruit roll-ups for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches no more. They ain't doing that, okay? These folks ain't even playing what the catch a girl, kiss a girl, or the cute look. They not doing that, right? These kids are at the lunch tables having real conversations, talking about real stuff, talking about adult stuff. Why? Because our communities are allowing them to. Two, social media. They have so much access to these networks, to these channels, to the Love and Hip Hop, to the Housewives. There's no way. I remember as a kid, I used to go to my granny house. My granny, because we didn't have cable up at the house. My mom and my mom, man, we weren't, poor. We were middle class. My mom they didn't play for no cable. They wasn't gonna pay for no cable. They was a little cheap. But we made it happen. But I used to be so excited to go over to my granny house to watch a little cable, okay? Because now I know I can watch me a few videos. Baby, when I tell you, evangelists used to come in there and say, "What you watching?" If you don't twist it off, baby, I remember I said, "I'm watching this," or "I'm watching." Girl, if you don't turn that stuff off, you better. That. So there were controls. There were parents that were involved. My mama, baby, I got in trouble. Give me the phone. Give me the phone, IKEA. Rosie used to get on the phone and leave a voicemail, put a voice message and say, "Hi, this is IKEA's mom. IKEA is in trouble and IKEA will not be able to be on the phone. So please don't call and leave a message because she is on punishment." See, those are the type of parental guidelines and parental controls that, children need, right? 1 in 4 Chicago students report feeling unsafe walking home from school, right? And that's according to UIC Youth Safety Survey in 2023. So that was in 2023. I can just imagine what those numbers are now. So 1 in 4 kids Every 1 in 4 kids reports feeling unsafe walking home from school. That's scary. That's scary. That means that we're not protecting our kids. That means that we're lacking somewhere within that. We're not protecting our kids in the way that we should. So, a couple of questions that I have for y'all that MVP said my mom used to do that too. Yeah, see, them mothers was a different day and age, honey. The mothers was a different day and age. See, do you guys feel kids today have enough structure and discipline? You know, I know for me, I feel like there is really a lack of discipline. And that don't mean whooping, right? Because I even look at how I parent my child. I'm not as quick with my child to spank him as like growing up. You know, if I did something, I would get a spanking, or you get a little pow pow, or what. I'm not as quick to do that with him. I do have more conversations with them, but for sure, I think that I found other ways to make sure, like discipline. You know, I've started punishment earlier, so he understands. Like, okay, no crayons, no blocks, no toys. You know, you didn't do right today. You didn't do this. No sweets, no dessert. You know, so he can understand the difference in, okay, I've had a good day. Okay, I've had a bad day. And then too, like when you think about that, like where do you guys think the breakdown is? Is it at home? Is it school? Is it the streets? Or is it really all of the above? When you think about this incident and what it represents, we think about the violence, we think about the lack of structure, we think about the kids. Where's the breakdown? Is it at home? Is it the school? Is it the streets? Or is it all of the above? And y'all, this ain't no museum. Y'all can talk, make some comments. Facebook, I am checking in. Facebook, I'm checking in with your comments here. Yeah. So, when I think about the breakdown, a lot of the breakdown comes from, it starts at home, right? We know that it starts at home. But two, let's think about our jobs, right? When we think about school teachers, think about the money they make, the jobs that they do compared to the salary they get. Like it's so uneven. So, you know, so by the time these kids have disruptive behavior and stuff, maybe they packing them up and sending them all home. That's it. Like they don't care. It is what it is. You know, so that gets us into segment 2, parenting gaps and community accountability. Parenting versus friendship. Modern parenting leans towards being a best friend versus a guardian, right? And I like to talk about this because a lot of folks look at the relationship that I have with my mom. Y'all know that's my girly pop, right? But a lot of folks that did not know us throughout the years or know us through my youth years don't know that we had a real bumpy road. Reason being is because Rosa couldn't be my friend because Rosa was a parent. She had to be a parent, right? It wasn't until I was grown and able to pay my own bills and go, you know, kind of, and I really wasn't paying all of my own bills, but really be old enough to go off into the world and do my own thing and be an adult, right? I was over 21, literally over 21, where she was then able to, okay, you grown, now we can chat, now we can, you know, but that growing up where we buddies and that they didn't play that. My mama ain't play that. You ain't my friend because you don't pay none of my bills. Like you're not my friend. I have to parent you. And I think a lot of times parents lean into the friendship versus the guardian because the friendship is easier, right? When you are a guardian, when you are a parent, when you have to be the bad cop, it's hard. That's not no easy work. Why? Because this is your child. What you love this child, you want to protect this child, you want to cater to this child. This is the most beautiful child you've ever seen because this little monkey is yours, right? This is your pride and joy, your little world. This is your, but when you have to be the bad cop, it requires work, right? Not only does it require work for yourself, but it requires you working to mold and train this child to be the type of adult and the type of human you want it to be and it deserves to be in the world. It's a hard job, okay? It is a hard job, right? And it's a job that you have to clock into every day. Ain't no days off, ain't no sick days, ain't no calling in, ain't no, you have to always be making executive decisions, right? You have to always be making a decision not only for yourself, but for this small individual and being the adults in the relationship. Because not only am I making this decision, but I'm making this decision to protect you or to cover you. And I think that a lot of times parents have fallen into the friendship role so young because it's easier to make this little person my friend and then let them make their own decisions. I'm gonna let them make their own decision. They're gonna tell me what they want to do and what they don't want to do. They're gonna do this and that, and I fall into it too. Like I allow my child to tell me, I allow him to have an opinion, right? Because he's a person. He can tell me, Mommy, I don't like that. I don't like, for instance, dinner. If you don't want, Mommy, I don't want to eat that. I don't like that. No problem. But guess what? When you make that option, if I give you that option, you make that option, you are choosing to not eat, right? You're choosing to not eat because you're saying you don't want what I've prepared for you. So you're choosing to not eat. You don't get another choice. You don't get me to make nothing else or to get nothing else. You just choose to not eat. And that is within your right to do, So I think that those are the things when you think about parenting, making those hard decisions, setting those strong boundaries. A lot of times we've fallen from that because modern parenting wants more fluff. They want the Instagram worthy stories. They want the cute stuff versus the real work that it takes in creating a small human and raising a small human. The boundaries are missing, consequences are missing, and empathy is missing, right? Boundaries are missing because, again, they're allowing these kids to be whatever they want to be. Consequences are missing. Why are consequences missing, right? When I think about the situation of the story of this young lady with these two kids walking home from school, I've been following this story so much so that I've been on the parents of these little kids, the parents' social medias. And to see how these parents are talking, to see how young-minded and dumb-minded these parents are talking and what they're saying. These parents are, one girl got on there talking about, oh, my baby is an AB student. My baby is a cheerleader, the captain of the cheerleader team. My child is this. My child do this. My child do that. Well, good job. Your child also cocked back her fist and punched a grown lady in broad daylight on camera. So she couldn't be too smart and she couldn't be too much of a good cheerleader or couldn't be too much of a, come on now. Come on now. And then for me, who is this lady's mama? Who is the mama's mama? Who's the grandmama? The Bible talks about the fruit. You know a tree from the fruit it bears. The fruit. What is the fruit of this family, right? Is this whole family, y'all whole lineage, y'all whole bloodline cursed? Like, what is going on? What is going on? How do you get on social media and give all of these accolades to a child who has just bruised and burnt your family name by doing some of the most stupidest stuff? And what's scary is these kids had the thought to put hands on this adult, and that the parents are Like, oh well, what? If you don't get these little heathens, if you don't get, like, come on. Where is the accountability? Guess what? There is none because they didn't have any. If they were even raised by their families, right? And so now, what's the next steps? The village. This is where the village comes in. I've seen so many people show up to the schoolhouse, so many folks to talk about, this mother, so many people that were out there and outside. Guess what? Where are our Black men that are going to decide to, hey, I'm going to volunteer some free time. I got some free time. I'm going to volunteer some free time up there at the school. Guess what? A lot of times growing up, a lot of these boys and girls, the only people that they saw of structure or that they only discipline they had was being involved in sports, was seeing their coaches, was seeing their youth leaders, was seeing their teachers, were seeing folks that they admired, and it came from folks they admired in the schoolhouse, right? So where is the village? How do we rebuild the village? All of these folks, they took off work, or maybe they weren't working and they just were, and they showed up to the school to be present and to sit at that school or whatever. Where are going to be the folks that go to the school and say, hey, sign me up to volunteer. Sign me up to come talk to these kids. I went to jail. Guess what? I'm going to show y'all little Negroes what it looked like to go to jail. Because that's where you head. You keep living like you're living. You keep doing what you're doing. You will be in jail. And guess what? They have that option. You have that option to go. I think a lot of times we've missed in this generation the tough love because we try to talk so sweetly and so soft and coddle. No, you are going to go to jail. Scratch that. You are going to get killed. You're going to get killed. Somebody will kill you. Why? Guess what? What if this little boy who just watched his mom get beat up and he got beat up? What if he goes, we know in the city of Chicago, because we know statistically, it's easier to find a gun. What you say? It's easier to find a gun than it is to find a parking spot. Period. What if this little boy wakes up, goes and gets a gun, shows up to the school? Now, oh, everybody looking stupid. Oh, he shot up the school. He just watched his mom get jumped by 8 or 9 kids after the mom had already put paper on these kids. She's talked to the principal. She's talked to the teachers. She's told them about the bullying. She's went to the CPD. She's done what she had to do as a parent to protect her kids. Yeah. Faith said, little homie can have terroristic tendencies. Period. And could we say he's in the wrong? I mean, yeah, but, we know that trauma equals traumatic circumstances, right? It is what it is. For every action, there's a reaction. So, yeah, we can say, he did this, he did that. But also, guess what? It is what it is. Yeah, PTSD. That's what it is. So these are the things that we need to be thinking about as a village, as we're showing up to the schools, as we're doing this stuff, and guess what? Where are the women that's gonna say, hey, all these little girls, I need y'all all to line up. All these young ladies, we need to start training our young girls. We've gotten so away training our young girls to be ladies. Ladies. I mean, Mom, I couldn't leave the house without an earring or what, and it annoyed me. But guess what? That trained you to be a lady. So these young girls, they're going to the school. I don't even know how they even threw a punch. This mother talking about, oh, my daughter is the captain of the cheerleading team. And cheerleaders are usually a little bit more dainty, aren't they? They're a little bit more, prim and pop. That girl, this 8th grade year old girl, cocked back a punch and threw a punch at an adult. At an adult. You can't tell me this little girl is trained and dainty and a cheerleader. And we need some folks that are going to take some time and invest in raising up our next generation. Guess what? It don't always have to be the parents. If we see clearly that there's a mental lack in the parents. We've watched these parents after this situation talk about, oh, this and that. They've made every excuse in the world. And I get it. That's your child. But also, where is the accountability for your child? A child has to be held accountable. They have to be responsible for their actions, and there has to be some sort of big repercussions. Because guess what? If we allow these kids to get away with it, what do we say to the rest of the kids? What are we saying to my son? Because I'm gone. If he think he finna put a hand on me, baby, I come ready to rumble, baby. Praying hands and laying hands, okay? Because I'm to lay them out, So what are we saying to our youth? If we allow these kids to get away with it, if we allow these parents to go unheld accountable, what are we saying to our generation? Guess what? These kids about to start jumping the teachers. When the principal calls them to the principal office, they about to be disrespectful to the principal. They about to start bringing, this is what we're saying. This is what we're saying to our youth if we don't hold them accountable. They have to be held accountable. But also, as a village, we have to hold them accountable. We have to go into these communities. Instead of just standing outside the school and going to this lady house, they done been at one lady house 2-3 days in a row. They just sat outside that lady house. That lady gonna lose her Section 8 and everything. Guess what? We're the folks to say, let me take these kids out to lunch and get in their head. What's going on? What have y'all seen? Y'all have to be held accountable, whether that's the Audi home, whether that's some sort of military camp, whether that's some sort of boarding school. Because they got to get drastic. You got to get drastic with we got to get drastic with the consequences now, because y'all is crazy. But guess what? I'm going to also invest in you. I'm going to also be right here once you get through that little hump. I'm going to be right here to support you and be right here to cover you and protect you and to pray for you and to guide you and to be a voice of reason for you, right? The problem is a lot of the adults make erratic decisions because they don't have counsel. Like, who do you call for good counsel? If you calling your dumb homegirl, then y'all both dumb. We have gotten away from calling mentors or mentorships or other folks that have a little bit more wisdom than us. We keep people around us at the same level, so we don't know who to reach out to when we have a situation. Because guess what? We all saying the same dumb thing. Start getting some folks, investing in some folks with wisdom. Black teens with consistent adult mentors are 55% less likely to engage in violent altercations, right? After school programs reduce youth crime by 29 to 47% between 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's the danger window. I think about some of the programs I did, like After School Matters, or for those of you that have youth, True Star Media. True Star Media was a huge lifesaver for me. Why? Because I had a lot of things that I wanted to do. I was very good at speaking. I was very creative. And True Star gave me that platform. It taught me. It allowed me to be around people that I would have never met otherwise. It allowed me to interview and touch celebrities that I would have never seen or I would have never done. And guess what? Now I'm 31, about to be 32, and I'm still doing media. I'm still doing some form of it, right? Because that's a passion of mine. But this after school program, right, allowed me to do such. And these are the things that we need to be invested in. And folks, if we got a few dollars, send them a $5 donation. Because these were 2 ladies from Chicago, 2 Black women from Chicago that was like, nope, we want to do something for the youth. They started it in their 20s. One of them just turned 50. And they still doing it for the youth. There's still a media by youth for youth, right? These are the things that we need to start putting our kids in. These are the programs that we need to start investing in, right? We know that our mayor has taken a lot of funding We know that CPS doesn't have a lot of funding for these after school programs, for these art programs. I used to do a program of creative writing. I went to some of the nicest museums, some of the nicest conservatories, some of the nicest places, just writing poetry. Why? Because there was a program in the city of Chicago for me to do that. These are the programs that we need to bring back, right? And the only way we can bring them back is if we have adult volunteers. Some folks that say, me. I got it. Don't worry. I'll do it. I got the time. I'll take out 2-3 hours, a week to teach this. I'll take out an hour a week to do T-ball. I'll take out an hour a week to teach these boys football. I'll take out an hour a week to teach these girls etiquette and how to be a lady and how to be, these are the things that we need to be doing as an adult, In Chicago, 38% of our community centers have permanently closed since 2018. That's scary. Where are these kids going, right? This brings me into segment 3, real solutions, rebuilding the village. We've talked a lot about it. Programs that we need, community sports, arts and media programs, conflict resolution training in schools. Why? Because these little folks don't know how to control their little feelings, right? I look at my 2-year-old. He'll be 3 next week. I look at his little feelings. No. And he'll try to have a little tantrum and first thing I say, hey, J3, because why? I'm asserting my dominance. I want you to know that, hey, I'm not going for it. 2, I want you to know that you're in a comfortable space. So we're going to work this out. The next thing I tell him, hey, take a deep breath. Guess what he do? Third thing to do, I said, now say what you were saying. Okay, mommy, I don't want to do this. Or I don't, okay, because now I can hear you. I can't hear you and I can't understand you when you doing all them tantrums. And it starts just that young. Y'all. These 2-year-olds, these 3-year-olds, these 4-year-olds, these little kids. I looked at his school. There were some kids that were having fits. I talked to the director and I told her, hey, have y'all thought about doing breathing exercises? Do breathing exercises. And I know that sounds so woo-woo or fluffy because we're so used to saying, hey, no, don't, you better do this. No, guess what I need you to do? There's going to be a day that you're going to be out of my house. There's going to be a day where you are out of my house and something is going to upset you so bad that you're going to just want to just lash out. I want to provide you the tools to know, okay, I can control these emotions. I can control these feelings. And these are the things that we need to be teaching in the school. How do we teach our little kids how to control these emotions? And how we can't just let them have temper tantrums and fall all out on the floor. Because guess what? They become adults that don't know how to control their emotions. They become adults that don't know how to communicate well. They become adults that can't operate in strenuous situations. And guess what? They be A1 crash outs. Why? Because it started so young and nobody checked the behavior. Conflict resolution training in the schools, period. Neighborhood watch without the police and state energy, right? We need to have, see, back in the day when they had the gangs and, there were community watchmen, right? And I know I hate to talk about gangs as if they were some fluffy, great thing, because they weren't. I mean, gangs were gangs, period. But there was still a certain valor and a certain protection that they did over their community. They took pride in their community. They took pride in the elders of their community. We have lost the pride in our communities. We have lost the pride in caring for our communities and covering our communities. And it's sad, because guess what? We're teaching our youth that it's okay to just throw stuff. I didn't even think about growing up. It used to get on my nerves so bad. My grandmother used to be like, them kids, I can't stand them kids. They come down here, they go to the candy store, they throw that paper on the ground. They throw that paper right in front of the house. or they run all through my grass, or they do that. And it used to end me because it's like, what does that matter? Why does that matter? Guess what? As an adult, I understand. Understand why? Because it's a protection of my community. It's a protection of my property value. This is a predominantly Black community. Guess what? When people ride down this community, I want folks to ride down and then make it look, even if it's not safe, it looks good. It looks like it's a safe community. It looks like a community that's well respected and well. You take pride in what you have, right? And those are the things that we've lost as a village. And really, we could get a little bit deeper is because we've lost a lot of home ownership because of taxes and because of the price and the cost of living. And because we can really go deep, but that's another conversation for another day. That'll be our second week in December. We'll start talking about our financials and we'll get down into the nitty gritty. But so we'll pin that. But these are the things that we need to talk about. Mental health workshops for teens. They need to have mental health, period, in the schools, period. Mental health needs to happen. We don't know what these kids are seeing at the households. We don't know what is going on. We don't know, a lot of these mothers, they on the drugs, they pill popping. These folks ain't living no clean A1 day one life. We have to be critical of that, right? We have to watch that, So those are the things. Youth who participate in sports are 40% less likely to engage in community flights, right? These are the things. These are the facts. This is a statistic, y'all. I'm bringing y'all the stats, I think about programs I did. I think about the things that I did. I was a theater kid. I couldn't play. My daddy tried every which way to put me in the sport. Miss Mama's was not a sweater. Miss Mama's did not like a sweat, okay? But guess what? I could get up there and say, popular. You're going to be popular, baby. Okay? Sound of Music. Take me through there. Take me through there. Baby, a stage. Take me through there. Take me through there. A microphone. Take me through that. Baby, that was me. I was a creative. I was a creator. I was a writer. I loved music. I loved performing. I love entertainment. That was my niche. That was it. So those are the things to think about. In my closing thoughts, I'm praying for that family, that woman. It looks like there is a lot of great things that are happening for her, and well deserved to my good sis. Well deserved to my good sis, to her son, to her daughter. They've helped her get a house. A lot of Chicago activists and community activists have reached out. But also, I would like to just challenge us, our community activists, and to reach out to the parents of those bad kids. Those bad kids need some help too, right? They need some guidance. They need some help. They need some leadership. So I challenge us to reach out to the have-nots, right? It's easy to get to the haves, but how do we position ourselves to reach the have-nots, right? We are in a state of emergency, but the emergency doesn't mean hopelessness. It means alert, aware, and activated. It's not enough to complain about the kids. If we don't build something, the streets will. And we've seen it time and time again. Tonight isn't about blame. It's about responsibility, and the responsibility is shared. Y'all join me next Thursday. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving. I'll keep y'all posted. I may just go live for a quick little moment. We'll do it the same time, maybe not the same place, but make sure you follow the Library Podcast on Facebook, the Library Pod on Instagram, at Ike with the Mic on Instagram, the Library Podcast on YouTube, on TikTok, at the Library Pod, and at Ike with the Mic. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share this. If y'all seen something that y'all like, if y'all heard something that y'all like, don't bother to send a clip. Leave a comment, y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in. The shelves stay open, the mic stays on, and the conversation stays real. See y'all Thanksgiving Thursday. We'll be chatting. I love y'all. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Instagram.